Thank you.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Dasana Samarambha, Shankaracharya Madhyama, Aspadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Parampara. Sagana Vabdu, Sagana Kanat, Sakavidyam Karavavahe, Tejasvina Madhida Mustama Vishabhahe, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Antedam Kalidosa Kalmashakaram, short Gurum Shankar. Beautiful slogan. Thank you very much, Balaji. We'll just read through this text and then we get back to this meaning. Vasudeventra Yogintram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hidartaya Tattva Bodha Vidiyate SADHANA-CHATUSHTAYA Sambandhadikarinam Moksha Sadhana Bhutam Tattva Viveka Prakaram Pakshyatmaha SADHANA-CHATUSHTAYam Kim Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaga Ihamutrat Balaboka Viragaga Samadhi Shatta Sambhattihi Mumukshutvam Che Iti Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaga Kaha Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma Tyat Vatiriktam Sarvam Anityam Ayameva Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaga Viragaga Kaha Iha Swarga Bhokeshu Ichcha Rahityam Samadhi Sadhana Sambhatti Ka Shamo Damo Uparitas Titiksha Shraddha Samadhanam Cha Iti Shamaha Kaha Mano Nigraha Damaha Kaha Sashukradi Bhakendriya Nigraha Uparama Kaha Sudharma Anushtanam Eva Titiksha Ka Sidoshna Sugadukkadi Sakishtutvam Shraddha Kitrasi Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu Visvasha Shraddha Samadhanam Kim Chittaika Grata Mukshutvam Kim Moksho Me Bhuyat Idi Ichcha Etat SADHANA-CHATUSHTAYam Tadastattva Adhikarino Bhavanti. So we are discussing the Tattva Viveka as a prakaranam to give us the Parama Purusham, which is the moksha, or the liberation, or the fulfillment. Kaivalyam it's called. So Jnanam Yevena Kaivalyam. So to get that liberation, total freedom from everything, every entrapment, we need the true knowledge. Satyam Param Dhimahi. The Satyam that we are asking for is the Jnanam, it's a Brahma Jnanam. Where is it? Figuratively, the Shrutis and Puranas and the Shrutis indicate that it is in the Guha, in the internal cavity, in the heart and heart of your inner self. It is inside you. It is everywhere, but it's inside you, the nearest to you. Therefore, these Guha, what are those Guha? This is what Tattva Vivekam is going to show in terms of Panchakoshas and so many instruments that are hiding them. So in this text, we are trying to get all those impediments to that knowledge and convert those impediments, the upadhis, into an instrument of help. So in that sense, we are studying now the adhikaratvam, the qualification needed to be a mukshu. As Jignasu, we are as a curious reader. And there are four, at least now we know it's the four groups. The first one is Vivekam. Second one is Vairagyam. I think what would be very useful is that because we have the recordings of these sessions, just before this class, maybe the previous night or something, both Balaji's versions as well as what I am trying to help you, go through it one more time so that you will come with a curiosity to clarify something. always it's better to come to a class where you have an objective to clarify. I tell you the reason for it when you go into the Dhamma and Shama. Curiosity is a great driver. Jignasu is the one who is curious. So you have something to know, then your mind is get attention for that. So we start about Vivekam and Vairagyam, and then we went to the emotional aspect of it. If you take Vivekam and Vairagyam as an intellectual, logical decision-making character that we build, next we had is Shama. The last session, we said, the first one is mind control. To achieve a balanced, tranquil mind, what do we have to do? So we summarized in as simple as possible. The mind is need a definition. We have a definition called Chitta Vritti, where the thoughts come in. Therefore, mind is now, the manas is taken as a bunch of thoughts. The process in which thoughts come and thoughts go, the logical bound of that is manas. We stay with that definition right now. So for that definition, because that is what is triggering all the actions, if you need to be pure, the vrittis have to be pure and it has to be poised. Therefore, we need to find a way. So the rest of these 5 attributes that we're going to see is actually a tributary to the manas. So Shama is the main goal, to have a clear Chitta Shuddhi, pure mind. Then we saw that mind has got 5 or 6 status. These are all just a way to figure it out, to manage it. So Patanjali see it as a Buddha state where it is alasyam, sleep, laziness, dull. Mind is that state. So we leave it there. Okay, it needs that because it is naturally occurs a Buddha state, a dull state, so that it can get to recoup itself. So you allocate some time for it. Kshipta is a state where it is full of activity, but it is not a very coordinated thought. Everything is there. Listening to the lectures, thinking about afternoon sessions, thinking about the office, all happens at the same time. Mind becomes a kind of a woolly place. 90% of the time, ordinarily we are in the Kshipta state. It is not a good state to be in. It is inevitable state, but it's not a good state to be in. Then we reduce that delusion. At least we pick up those ideas which are important. We try to focus on it. So Vikshipta is a state where it has less sanjalam, it is less oscillation. Still have oscillations, still confused, but you can see a corner of it, like like a guest coming home. You clean up all this thing under the sofa, and you have a clean room for a while, right? That's like that. You focus on something. It's a good start. But then if you can move that into focusing on that one particular aspect at a time, it's called ekagram. Then you have the final state to go through. But what we need to do, therefore, is to make our mind to be in as much as possible in a Vikshipta and ekagra state. This is not just for Vedanta, it's for everything, in everyday life. In everything you do, you focus, and we are going to learn the techniques. These are all not very esoteric, theoretical, something you read about it, but it has to be practiced. There are steps there to do it. You apply, so you get the benefit of it. So we said that it is helped by at least 3 major points. Viveka, Karta, Karana, Viveka. It means, am I the instrument? My mind is the instrument, or it is a boss? The moment you know it's an instrument, you take control. And any instrument, if you don't use it, it will rot. If you use it, it depreciates. But if you use it and maintain it, it gives prolonged usage of it. It's very important to understand. Your body, if you don't do any exercise, you don't walk around, you sit down there, you decay. No matter whatever healthy food you eat, whatever vitamin you put in there, it's all input to it. There's no exertion, there's no output of it. The body just stays there, it will decay. So every tool set, that's why we do the Ayuda Puja, we take it out and clean it up, mess it up. So we do the instrument understanding of the mind, and therefore we have an obligation. The mind has to be managed, it has to be cleansed. The mind has got tributaries, it is a sixth sense, Bhagavan says. It's got helping instruments there. It brings out knowledge to it. It's called Dhamma. Therefore, the sense control is an important aspect to help to this. Of course, the last one, most important one, is to bring the mind into the focused area. You be with the satsang. So we saw this one and we saw the benefits. Now we have to go to the next one, the sense control, the Dhamma. Again, we see in a three-way. The text only show you what the definition of Dhamma is. Now we talk about how to nurture it and what's the benefit of it. So Dhammaha kaha. Sesha is asking, what is this Dhammaha? Chakshuradi bahendriya nigraha. Chakshu, the adi here means etc. on the beginning. Bahendriyam. Baha means outside. Indriya is that energy, subtle energy that powers that understanding, powers the sense energy. Nigraha, that literally remove it, control it. Let's see what it is. This, first of all, you understand what this Indriyas. The Indriyas is used, in Vedas, in the original Vedas has got largely the worship of Indra. In Rig Vedas, Indra is more predominant than even Shiva or Vishnu. They are not used. Of course, later the Puranas came in, that there was a kind of a personification given to gods, and then it's all changed. But the Vedas mean by Indra and all energies of Ubendras is to show the Satyam, the Brahman. It is used in two senses. The one that is Parabrahman, as a Ubendra, that which as a Jivatma is seeking the Parabrahman. Therefore, anything that powers is the Indra. So all the worship in the Vedas are worshipping that which powers the world, that which powers oneself. Therefore, the Indra is Vishnu, Indra is Shiva. You can say anything that you wanted to say when you have personification of it. But don't think that in the Devendra sitting on the Swarga. They're all coming in as the Puranic aspect of it. In Vedas, the Indras are that which gives the power of cognition. So Indriyas are the powers of Indra, the manifestation of that power in so many ways. Here, Bahendriya. So we are going to go in great detail in this Tattva Bodha itself, so I would not go into great length, but I think important to understand. Sakshufu is eyes, Tvak or Kayam, which gives you the eye, gives you the vision to see, Tvak gives you the touch, Sostram is the ears, Rasna is the taste, the Jihva, the tongue, the mouth, Granam is the smell, Iti, Pancha Jnanendriyani. So Bhagavacham, so Jnanendriyani. Five senses. The sense of touch, ears, seeing, smelling, tasting. Bhagendriyani. They are bringing from outside. It's very interesting because the ears are started hearing what is going on inside your body, what will happen. There are almost 6 to 8 liters of blood is pumping around. So much of machinery is running inside the body. And if you start listening to what is going on inside your body, it becomes a disease, is it not? They call it a pylphilus tetanus. If you start hearing blood flow. So therefore, these indriyas that are there are perfectly made. If God has made the indriyas to listen to outside, that's called a bahya indriya. How can I control it? So we have to understand very differently. See, also the indriyas, if you take, for example, eyes see things. Now, how can I control the eyes not to see the things? I can close it, so I don't see it. But do I actually, by doing that, free from that sense, free from the attachment? I think to respect the senses, we should understand the power of those senses. We take eyes, for example. I see things, and in the Vedas we talk about subtle indriyas called tanmatras. The eyes in this, look at it. The science say there are two receptors called rod and the cone. Those receptors receive the light. One receives the luster of it, one receives the color of it, and then it convolutes it to a sort of a protein. The protein now travels through as a photon layer into the brain. And if you take ears, for example, ears receive everything, goes to the eardrums, and there are three very subtle bones are there, malus, incus, and all this, and they go and touch kind of a snail-like a part, because it's a fluid called cochlea. In that fluid, it vibrates. The vibration generates little resonance, and the hair-like particles pick up those resonance. So you see here, the eyes get an optical energy from the sun, from the light, and it uses the energy to create a transmission protocol and send it out to the brain. And you look at the ears, take the sound, convert into water, the jala in this cochleas. So there is a kind of a connection between how the indriyas operate and how the primordial energy is out there, the water, fire, air. So if you need to understand the mechanics of the senses, you need to understand upon which these instruments act. It doesn't act on a dead person's body. Therefore, the effulgence is coming from this. So the power of indriyas are so immense. So we cannot really say nigraha means controlling it, stopping it. You just cannot do that. You know, you can put your earplugs on your ears. That's not going to make you free. See, if I see a person on the road, that the person entices me to see the person again, then my senses go. So the eyes don't go back to the mind, goes to the person. So what is being attached is not my physical eye or the sense energy, but my mind. Therefore, the indriyas are a definition of indriya. Therefore, I can say is an objectification of a desire. It is a manifestation of the mind based on a desire. I'll give an example. If you are not giving the willingness to give your ear to me, to listen to this, you will not hear me. Is it not? So you have the ears, it's perfectly hearing, but your mind is not willing to hear right now. You're reading a book, an interesting book, and your partner, or your brother or somebody comes there and say, hey, what are you doing? You don't answer him back. Sometimes you even pull the person, they don't answer. They get surprised. Why you pull me? What happened? Because the energy is all given into. Now, I just digress a bit because, you know, why I say it's not a control but regulation, reorientation, I would say. You have very limited energy, power in the mind. Mind has got infinite potential, but it's got a limited execution power to update or to withdraw or to draw or to retrieve data. The cognitive sciences say, I think somebody did a wonderful study, talk about in terms of quantifying it, your buffer which connects the five senses to the brain can only process 126 bits. Bit in a IT terminology, it's basically, you can think of a character or something like that. Which means, normally when you listen to, per second. So when you listen to me, for example, you are, see, imagine your mind has got this capacity, 126 or say 130, a round number. If you allocate the whole channel to my hearing, it's impossible to do it. Because you have to do other things. Normally, when somebody is speaking and if you're listening to that intently, you spend around 60 to 70 bits worth of dedication to that. That's why when you're listening very carefully, the smell of the upma in the kitchen doesn't come to you. The moment you relax that listening, everything else comes to you. What happened there is your allocation of your power to listen to is now diluted because the mind decided to give something more to the eye, to the nose, to something else. This happened right now unconsciously, but there is a way that you can actually control that in yogas. It is therefore important. This 126 or 130 or whatever, 150, whatever the number is, it cannot be extended. That is a limitation of us. But therefore, we must use it very well. We must be able to use it such a way that if I want to listen to, if you want to hear to, if you want to smell something to, if you want to do something to it, how much of focus I can give it to. So only in that respect, I would say, here what we say nigraha means, how are we going to reorient ourselves so that only the right amount of senses come into. Bhagavan says, when, how do you do that? Yada samharade chayam kurmonganiva sarvashana indriyani antridepsa tasya prajna pradishtita. Kurma means tortoise. Tortoise, what to do, it has got, when you go and touch it, just takes away everything inside. It will never come up until the inhibition is gone. So that's an example Bhagavan is giving. It doesn't mean that you can pull your ears away and eyes away. But you take away this number of bits you're going to allocate to them. We talked about Vashigara before. The Vashigara is one, Vashigara state is one where the feed that is coming to Pratyagara, the agara is the food. The food the senses are giving to you is reduced. They will keep on doing. Eyes will be keep on seeing. Ears will be keep on hearing. But your mind will not allocate the time for it. Therefore, there is no need to put a earplugs on it. Of course, you can try it out initially. It is the mind that makes a difference. So what do I therefore should do? A couple of things. One is, of course, the most important thing is Viveka and Vairagya. Is it worth spending my senses on that? So that's intellectually you decide, and mind has a little control and say, I'm not going to be bothered about it. But also you should psych it in a way, you take some commitment to yourself. Okay, today I'm going to be fasting. I would not eat other than the fruits. But a sweet comes from somebody. It's very tempting to eat. Normally you'd be eating that one. But today you take an hour. You don't take it. Little steps. We don't need to be, what I'm saying is, I think what the great people say, you don't control it by pushing it hard. Bhagavan Ramana says, taking a leaf and give it to the cow, it will come to you. Like that, you give to the senses what it can find interesting. Take out small steps. If you are sleeping with 10 pillows every night, today you say, I will take only 2 pillows. Then next day you take only 1 pillow. You exercise your mind so that you are able to make the senses or depleted of their autonomous craziness, and you allocate time for it, you allocate resource for it. And this is not just Vedanta, this is a practical approach to life. So we do that. Of course, the best thing is to avoid situations where you really not need to be there. Avoid all the situations where it will affect your sensual perceptions and your desires. So if you do that, Bhagavan also says, if you Indriyanam hi Shardam Yanmanonu Vidyate Tasasya Haradi Prajna Vayur Nama Ivamasi. Like a boat which is swayed in a thunderstorm. So mind will be oscillating here and there. You will not go the destination you want to go if this sense control is not there. Sense control means sense reorientation. Therefore, the definite benefit is that it gives you clarity to the mind. It is also very interesting. Now, there's a wonderful paper from the guy just before when the COVID came in, and it just they talk about not just a physical activity, mental activity, because your energy, your body, physical energy improves when you don't expend your indriyas. Indriyas need to be used, but if you expend too much on it, it will go away. If you put on a hearing, what's called a hearing aid or the headphones, and you blast your music in a high treble and the high bass, and you listen to the stereo music, you will lose it because you are spending more. It's going to allocate a lot of it. So therefore, the physical well-being is also better by sense control. Therefore, overall, Dhamma is an important point. Now we know Sama, we know Dhamma, and we by knowledge and practice we are able to do that. What is next? Uparamaha. So the Shishya is asking, Uparamaha kaha? So Dharma Anushtanam eva. So the word Uparamaha has got number of meanings. Withdrawal, one meaning. Shankara gives a very beautiful definition as well for it. But let's just look at this. Swadharma Anushtan. Swa means your own dharma, your own duties, what you need to do. So this comes in every Vedantic text. Utam cha swadhyaya pravachanaya cha. Satyam cha swadhyaya pravachanaya cha. Tapas cha swadhyaya pravachanaya cha. In the Tattva Upanishad, we see that it goes in, do all this. Tapas, swadhyaya, ishvara pradhani. It's a Yoga Sutra. There are 3 things which are important, indicated in the yogas. We should take those 3 things as a meaning of Uparamaha. Tapas means, you normally see tapas means somebody sitting there, meditating for a long time without moving it. That is a personification of tapas. But tapas is anything where you convert your potential energy in your body, in your mind, into kinetic energy. The transformation of your energy to action creates heat. Tapaha means heat. The heat comes here from converting your potential into action. Therefore, you have to act all those nitya karmas, niyamas, and we are going to go into this in the Yoga Sutra very beautifully. Yamaha, niyamaha, because the 8 Ashtanga yoga is there. But here normally it means very focused activity to achieve your goal. Swadhyaya. Swa Adhyaya. Adhyaya means generally a paragraph or a text. Here it talks about the text that belong to you, that you own, that you need to do. Each of us has got certain text in a Vedic Adhyayanam, or you can take it here as your dharmas, what you need to learn to live a rightful life. Before you perform action rightfully, know your actions while knowing the knowledge of it, and you do that as a Ishvara Pranidhanani. We had to go in great detail into this, but simply this means admiring, worshipping the Ishvara Bhakti. How does it relate to what we just now talked about, Shama and Dhamma? For that, we look at the literal meaning of it. So, Uparama means withdrawal. So, we know that in Shama and Dhamma, we're withdrawing. In Dhamma, we're withdrawing our senses from things that we don't want to see. How do we know what we don't want to see, don't want to smell, don't want to hear? It depending on the tapas we do, the swadhyaya we do. Depending on the time and the context, we utilize or reorient our senses towards those goals. So therefore, the literal meaning is perfectly fine. It is also renunciation, letting go. Sometimes you may hear the noise of the neighbor playing some loud music. You can't go and stop it. Of course, you can put some earplugs. Let it go. Same way, something that are beyond your control, let it go, let it come, let it, the smell may come, the bad feeling may come, just let it go. How do you let it go? It happens in your mind. You learn the trick because the moment you see things, it is away from you. Is it not? Somebody goes to Bhagavan Ramana and asks about, I'm so grieved, and as usual, he never talks, he was just sitting there. Then he said, after some time, he asked, okay, you see the dukkham? He said, yeah, I see the dukkham, I am seeing suffering. He says, if you're seeing the dukkham, it is not you. Now, that is a Brahmastram, if you read Bhagavan Ramana's teaching and his life, his Brahmastram is very simple. It comes back to you. See who it is talking, who it is asking, who it is there you're talking about. When you come to that question, it comes to the basic Nitya Vastu Viveka, Drishta Viveka. If I see something, it is not me. If I see the dukkham is not me. It is a belonging. So I can disown it. So you can say so many different meanings, but here I think we take in a very simplistic way. Uparama means reorienting our brain, senses. Therefore, it is Swadharma Anushtanam. If you do your duty regularly, that becomes Uparama. So therefore, it is achieved by being alert. Observe your mind. Every time you make sure, this is about retaining the Dhamma and Sama. You achieve, today 1 hour you do a Dhamma, you control, you focused on it. Tomorrow if you don't do it, that means you don't have Uparama. Uparama is maintaining that, therefore you be alert on it. Of course, it comes with abhyasa, you need to practice it. If you go to management school, creative management, they have a sessions how to practice focus. Here it is become a daily life for us, because for us, work is worship. So whatever you do in the office is also a part of your life. So you prepare yourself to be focused on it. And without saying, satsang is a major important enabler for it. What is the benefit? It retains the sama and dhamma, therefore it is an important aspect to the other two. But also I think it's very interesting because the moment you withdraw from things, you get quality time. Have you ever thought of you having, before the corona or before this kind of forced sit down, that you have so much time for yourself? Have you ever thought of spending precious 2 hours or 3 hours on Sundays on this kind of self-help. Where was this time come from? It was always there. But because you started developing, thanks to this pandemic, we are able to find the most. The time is, people say time is money. Money you can save. Money you can produce interest. Time cannot be saved. Time is not money. Time can be only spent. I remember a biography of a guy who is reading that one. I think he made his money, 35 years he retired, at 36 he died. But he made all the money, working hard. He didn't know his son is growing. When he came back there, and son was 8 years old, and he wasn't even aware that he's gone up so much. He was saving money, but time he did not spend. So spending time is very important point. So the quality time comes from Uparama, Parati. Of course, a side benefit is that because you are not spending time on things that you shouldn't be spending on it, you have a risk-free life. You don't get into entanglement. So we have seen that therefore, what is Uparama? What's the time we have? Okay, we have some more time. So what is Uparama? What is how you enhance it? And what's the benefit? Now, we go to the next point. It's called Titiksha. Again, we look at it. What is Titiksha? How to get it and what's the benefit of it? Titiksha ka. Sitoshna. Shuga Dukkhadi. Sahishnutva. So Titiksha means, in Gita, I think Bhagavan talks about it many, many times. In chapter 2, and chapter 3, and chapter 6. This is a quality which would strengthen only when you have Dhamma and Sama. This is about accepting things, forbearance. Accepting not because you are meek, you have no other choice, but because you have the power to endure. So here he gives an example of Sita Ushna. Sita means cold. Ushna means hot. The dvantvam, the polarity of it. If it is hot or cold, if it is sukham or dukkham, if it is good or bad, we can go on talk about these polarities of things. Everything is in opposite ends of it. In all these things, you have sahinishta. Sahinishta means you accept as if it is just a sensation. It's quite easily said than done. How can you really accept both polarities? When there is pain comes in, you cry. It's painful. Again, we need to see what are the instruments that we have to help us go through this one. You will not be able to achieve this one if you see things as different from you. See, look at the bhayam. Why there is fear in mind? Because fear is that there is somebody else is going to come into my house. Something else is going to happen other than you. Why there is a greed or jealous comes in? Because I've been very happy. I bought a car, new car. In my portico, it's beautiful. I'm very proud. Only until the time my neighbor bought a superlative car, a Porsche or a Mercedes S-Class in his portico, my happiness is gone completely. It is not because that he has done anything. It's because not because of that car. It's because my dvesham has come because I see. It's called Asuya. All this comes because you don't see the oneness in things. You don't see Prem. You don't see the totality is part of the Brahman. So therefore, titiksha is something which we build slowly. For that, you need to have a transaction within yourself. You will understand later when you go into detail of it. This is coming out because of these gunas. So in Vedanta, it was something very interesting because Vedanta has no enmity to any other school of thought. It takes out everything that comes from. See, I keep quoting about Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. It is not a Vedanta, but Patanjali gives you a lot of interesting things for the sadhanas. So great Vedantis don't use the Samadhi Jnana from the Yoga Shastra because they talk about siddhis and walking on the waters and things like that, which will put you more into this kind of Maya. But there are things that are important comes from the Vedanta, from the Yoga Shastra. Same way from Sankhya gives you so many things about this kind of a karanas, andhakaranas. So Vedanta takes all these things because you assimilate all the good knowledges from you. Because Vedanta is epitome of all this supreme knowledge. Upanishad is called the Veda Siras. So Titiksha, therefore, in many practical purposes, we take it as endurance, forbearance. It may be for us, at least for me in this state, it may not be fully polished, knowledge-based one, but as a sadhana to endure. That's why we take all these vratas. You know, we see this in, especially in South India, when they do some of those kind of a kavadi, they take this kind of a paste through this thing, through this tongue. They carry things which are quite difficult to carry. You go to Shabarimala Yatra, or when you go to the Himalayas, you take a very limited food. You starve yourself. You punish yourself. Why? Because you need to develop this diksha. But when you do that, what will happen is, this will happen even when you take a Ekadashi fasting. When there is, when they have a tingle of hunger comes in, if you pass through that one, hunger goes away. Okay, it is. You should do it very carefully. Again, I want to come to that one. Even the fasting, everything should be done very balanced way, because you cannot be just fasting and abuse your body. Your body is the instrument, important instrument to use it. But when you do this one, what happens is that there comes a momentary point of time that you start looking at yourself. You look at your hunger itself in your mind, and you can see the hunger going away. You have to get hold of those thoughts where you are able to observe the thing. If you looking at your operation that's happening to you in a body, and if you're able to look at it as an observer, you don't need any anesthesia. You can look at it. That is titiksha. Therefore, you can see titiksha is both a power to accept things without resistance, but also it develops the capacity to see things in a very different perspective. So therefore, Bhagavan says in Viveka-Chudamani, Sakanam Sarvadukkanam Apritikar Purvakam Chintaga Parakitam. Just without any cringing, without any worries, just let it pass. So the titiksha is the capacity on your mind and intellect to say, so be it, so what? Without cringing in your mind. You may not know that fully, but take it in Shraddha that everything will pass. That mentality is titiksha. Taking that mentality and changing your posture to problems is titiksha. How wonderful it is. It is not something for the moksha sadhana, it is for every day in life. We do see life, difficulty situations there, and we are not able to process it because we become entangled in that problem. And our tool set, like Sachin Tendulkar was saying, is one of the interviews. He got 136 in Dubai, and the interview asked the guy, okay, what happened when you go to 99, 98? He said, I stopped looking at the scoreboard. Because the moment I look at the scoreboard, so my senses come in, my emotions come in, I become a thinker of a doer. The next ball I need to defend, I don't play him in normal strokes. So he shuts his mind, his eyes, in Dhamma, and he fetches the ball. So Tidiksha is like this, having endurance, forbearance, taking it. Initially, it may have, your mind may be still saying, look, it is hurting me. Sitting is hurting me. Okay, let it hurt. Bear it. Walk for a day without your shoes. Walk on the land. See, more important, Yoga Shastra, your body have to touch the ground as much as possible. So when you are putting layers of shoes and dresses, you are going away from the Prithvi. So you had to have some time, you touch your body, touch your thing, take some uncomfortable postures to your body. But very soon you will see, you take sugars, 3 sugars in a coffee, make it 2 sugars for a week. You're bitter. Take 1 sugar after some time. Then you take sugarless coffee. You got a vairagyam on sugar now. So it's very simple steps. Nothing is difficult to do, but this can be applied to all things in life. So Tidiksha is therefore forbearance, the fourth important one to do that. As usual, again, the importance viveka, because everything that you do, if you do it with intellectual harmony, that your senses are told by the intellect that this is the right thing to do and you accept it, it is a lot more durable than just a physical condition. Today, I listened to the class. I don't understand why it is, but I'm going to commit for the endurance. It will not last forever because you're not intellectually committed to that. So, viveka is the first thing. Tapas, taking up the tapas. All that I was telling you is tapas. Walking on the feet, taking things that are different from your normal course. Now, what happened is in the Shama and Dhamma, the mind become clean. In Tidiksha, it becomes stronger. See, sometimes people say, that person is a very nice person. He never talks insulting words. Hitam mata, dharma matati. So that kind of person he is. But if that person get offended because I say something incorrect upon him, he may have a very beautiful, clean mind, but his mind is not strong. You understand? Somebody has told him something, he get upset. He's not harming anybody by being upset, but he's just harming himself. But he is still not is the adhikari for the Brahmajnanam because his mind is not strong. The diksha is not there. So you have to be strong in your mind. To be strong in the mind, you need to have the diksha. The Tattva Bodha and Siddha Shuddhi is all important. Both are important. Bhagavan talks about it repeatedly, boringly he is telling you this one. Look at 3 chapters on Gunatya Gunabheg. You have to transform yourself. He ignores all the Brahma Jnana in the 2nd chapter. And he takes Arjuna holding his ears and twisting him, look, eat this food, walk this way, do this way, talk this way, to bring in transformation in you. So here, the Diksha should give you transformation and your mind becomes stronger. It's a benefit of it. So it is not good enough to say, I'm a very good person, I am kind to others. But are you strong? Can you withstand criticism? Another thing also, if you get hurt, it is also ahankara, abhimana. You have somehow put yourself as a doer, as a giver. Say suppose somebody gives a lecture, gives a talk, and then at the end of the talk, nobody comes to him and say, you did a good talk, and they all go away. and the teacher gets hurt. Nobody is grateful. Nobody told me anything. That means he has no maturity because the diksha is not there. He put himself in the front. 90% of our problems in life is because of this, because you put an expectation on somebody else, undue expectation. And the expectation doesn't happen, you get hurt because the abhimanam that you have, that you put yourself in the front. I need to know, I must be given this respect, I must be given this call back, I must be given this kind of input. You have to give up. So therefore, the one that we saw, uparamaha, giving away this abhimanam. It's very important thing. Of course, this is not being talked about it right now. This is what going to be. See, this is why this is going to be a continuous process. It's not going to end. You achieve all these things and you learn this Brahmajnanam and you become a thing. Can you give up the Tidiksha? No. You become a Brahmanishta. The Nishta is basically doing the Niyamas. You can keep, as long as you have an embodiment, the mind monkey is waiting, the Maya is, Avidya is waiting. Would he ever shows a change? I'll draw him back. So that's why it's called a Sambhati. It's a property, it's an asset. So you cannot give it away. So that's the reason why I'm laboring the point. Only 13 sentences. Now we got 6 classes now, 5 classes. We're still there. But this will be your asset. You can ignore Atma-jnana, Brahma-jnana, because it'll all happen someday. But if you hold on to it, and if you practice it, you don't need to try anything. You don't need to read any book. You don't need to read Vedas. Because you are the Adhikari. The gurus will be just looking for you. The gods will be looking for you because they need to give that to you because you are waiting for these qualities. You need to take no step. But if you achieve this and keep this as your property. Therefore, here what we are talking about, the 4th quality. The first one is Shama, mental poise, clean mind. For that, we have 4 more to come. The last one is Samadhi. The mind, the clean mind has to be a focused mind. The clean mind is the focused mind. The mind has to be pure in thought. Therefore, I use Dhamma, sense control, sense reorientation. Now, this has to be continuous process. Therefore, I focus on my righteous duties, Uparama. Therefore, my Sama and Dhamma are retained. I am in the Uparama. Therefore, mind becomes pure, consistently pure, eternally pure. But it is still weaker because it may get affected by external events, whether it's physical events like heat and cold, or subtle events like Shuga Dukkha, or a provoked event by third parties giving me dushprayog on me. Therefore, I must make the mind stronger. Therefore, I do Tidiksha. So we learned 4 today, 4. We have 2 more to go. So I would like to close it here. So what I suggest, therefore, is I keep repeating it. By telling you, I'm telling myself. So please bear with me. So this should not be staying in you as a knowledge. It has to stay in you as a practice. It has to be practiced right from the tea that you're going to take in the afternoon. But you must think those words and hold on to it. So the next class, hopefully we'll finish this Adhigaratvam and we can get into the Vedanta Vichara. Om Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti.
Give it back to you, Balaji.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Raja. Another fascinating session today. I mean, it's a brilliant summary also at the end. So we are looking forward to more and more enlightening sessions in the future Sundays. Okay. Thank you very much. Today, Natuji is missing, so I will do the final Upanishad. Or is anyone else? Naresh, somebody? Would you like to lead the last one?
Sure, Guruji.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you for the opportunity. Om Asato Ma Sat Gamaya
Om Asato
Satoma
Satgamaya
Satgamaya
Tamaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya
Tamaso
Jyotirmaya
Gamaya
Mrityorma Mrutam Gamaya
Amritam Gamaya
Gamaya
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti